Hello again and welcome to For the Love of Cycling on the road at the Giro d'Italia. We've just seen the end of stage 3, the end of the Bulgarian journey. It was a sprint stage. We had an all-Italian breakaway with the usual suspects, and in the end, the fastest man in the bike race won again, and it's Paul Magnier. And you know what? For once, there wasn't a crash. As you might notice, we've come out of our
bunker,
our little bunker, whatever you want to call it, and we're out in the middle of Sofia, which we've been around Bulgaria a little bit for the last few days, and starting in Burgas and then going inland into the hills, and now here in the capital city, Jacopo. Everywhere we've gone is completely different.
Yeah, it changes dramatically from Burgas, which looked exactly like a touristic place. Then we went to the mountains where people look like sporty, people enjoy sports. Here with the city, feels like very international.
It's a capital city,
yeah,
right?
It's a capital city. You see from the buildings and the people. Yesterday we were in a giant tower, all inside of the casino. Very big, major shift from what it was before.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can't quite see it, but just up, in fact, right behind us.
They see it.
Right behind us, that's our office. That's where we've been commentating from. See that little staircase that just goes up there? Walking in there, that's basically where Jacopo and I live.
A cubicle.
A cubicle, yeah, our penitentiary cell, to put it another way. But what you probably can't see is just about 100 metres in that direction is the podium and the golden domes of one of the most beautiful bits of church architecture. In fact, I think you can just about see one of the golden domes.
It's there, in the background.
Yeah, oh, that's what you were trying to tell me, and I wasn't listening.
I thought you wanted to refer to that.
Just wasn't listening, I'm sorry. No, the Alexander Nevsky Orthodox Cathedral, which was built in the late 19th century and dedicated to the memory of the international army that fought back the Ottoman Empire and actually founded the modern Bulgarian state. So beautiful, beautiful place. And during the podium ceremony just now, Jacopo, I don't know if you're aware, but they were tolling the bells, weren't they?
Yeah, I heard in our headphones there were bells ringing all the time, and it was good, nice touch. I think the Giro brought in here like a much more smaller kind of podium, the stage for the podium.
Yeah.
And today they had an amazing background for it. There was the little podium, and in the background the church. Amazing.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we'll get on to talk about the race in a second, but you raise a really good point, Jacopo, because we've got a long journey now this evening. Everything has to get over to Calabria in the very south of Italy, but all this infrastructure here, the loads of VIP, the finishing arch, the VIP infrastructure, the podium, our commentary box, all the other bits and pieces, the barriers, the kilometres of barriers. None of that is making the journey to Italy.
I don't think so. I would be very surprised, if they make in time, because they have just 1 day and a half. It would be possible to come there. But that means double set for each. Same piece of things like hospitality, our commentary booth, the finish line, everything needs to be double.
Yeah.
Big effort, Logistic-wise, huge.
So we think actually all this stuff goes off to the Tour of Hungary now, and we'll pick up the regular infrastructure, if you like, of the Giro d'Italia in Italy. But as we say, all the riders, ourselves included, charter flights down to the south of Italy. Some of the teams are taking a ferry, aren't they, from Greece?
Some of the staff members of what I know from Rockets Roads, Unibet, yeah. Oh, they're always changing, shifting names out. You got the gist.
DSM.
Exactly. They're gonna go with the boats. I guess they left this morning. I hope for them from Greece. Now from Greece to Calabria. It's quite a journey. Especially if you know that ahead of you lays, 3 weeks of racing.
Yeah,
it's gonna be long for them.
Absolutely. And just on other sort of like slightly off the beaten track, never strays far type news. My baggage arrives.
Yeah, yesterday you were very pleased and all smiley.
Do you know
the good old Ned, my happy Ned.
It was tense as well because we didn't get to our hotel in Sofia till 10 o'clock at night.
It was super late.
And then got to, everyone tries to check in at the same time, got my room key and all that sort of thing. And I said, and sorry, there's a big queue of people behind me. I said, also, can I just check, is there a suitcase here? And they went, let me just check all these people in first and then I'll tell you. And I'm going, really need to know. But it was there.
It was there.
Yeah. Let's talk about the bike race. A little bit of a sag of the shoulders from you and me when Kilometre Zero happened, and we had an attack from Bardiani and Polti visit Malta.
Yeah, 3 guys this time. I mean, it's a nice word of saying I was banging my head on the table probably at that moment.
Mentally you were.
Mentally it cracked me. But I suffered the first 40 kilometers because the speed was very slow. And then it picks up later, then there was the climb. We watched Arnaud Deline struggle on the climb. I mean, it felt like he went quick till the Red Bull kilometer, and then I think we can skip all the part before. It was the usual fight between intermediate David Sevilla, Tarozzi was going to win.
Well, we should name check the three guys, right?
Yeah, no, it was absolutely because I was getting to that
Okay,
later
fine,
because
fine,
they
yeah.
deserve.
Yeah,
but it
absolutely.
was
Yeah.
Tarozzi,
Manuele
from
Tarozzi.
Bardiani.
The little fella with the rocking position on the bike and the little smile on his face.
Then
I
it
like
was against Sevilla.
Yep.
Had been 3 days in a row in a breakaway, and then the other one was Tonelli, teammate of Sevilla.
Yep.
So those were the three riders, and they then was script. You know, they were fighting a little bit for the KOM. The intermediate was thanks to Tarozzi, so that was pretty much it. No,
There was a little bit of an arrangement on the road.
Yeah,
there was
yeah.
a bit of an
There was
arrangement.
not really
You take the sprint, I'll take the KOM. Happy days.
They were collaborating one each other.
Yeah.
I think we can draw a line at the Red Bull kilometer. We were speculating for a long time, like whether the peloton might catch them or not before the Red Bull kilometer, because the Maglia Rosa is still up for grab with bonuses. There was a sprint between the breakaway because they didn't catch it. How they ended up?
Tarozzi won it.
Yeah.
Tarozzi beat Sevilla, which counted to All
really
our-
surprisingly.
It was. I mean, the narrative that you and I we had so much time to fill. We were trying to suggest might happen. It was a bit fanciful. Was that Netcompany Ineos might try and ride the breakaway down and bring those bonus seconds into play, because thinking about one rider in particular, they've got two on GC, Team Allensman, but Egan Bernal, right? He's 4 seconds off the Maglia Rosa. He could, in a theoretical world, have taken 6 seconds there, put himself in the Maglia Rosa. Now, that might be possible over the days to come. Might be possible on stage 4. You never know. But what a moment that could be for Egan Bernal if he's able to achieve that. I'm not talking about realistic prospects of winning the Giro d'Italia, but to wear that jersey again, given everything that Bernal has been through, would be a very notable moment.
Indeed, we were definitely projecting our hopes into the commentary today.
It's good psychological
Because
terminology.
we
Projection.
wanted this to happen so badly in a way. It will be, getting this race a little bit of a romantic thing. Nothing wrong with Silva. We're more than pleased to have a rider from Uruguay, in the leadership is something unique. But, it was under so much, troubled water, Bernal. It would have been a pleasure for the eye seeing him in a Maglia Rosa, which we don't have to rule out. It might still happen in the next days. It could happen.
Yeah. Either way, as you've already said, Tarozzi won the sprint at the Red Bull kilometre, so that's it. 13 kilometres to go. All the business is dealt with. The only climb of the day, the sprint and the Red Bull kilometre. Nothing else there for the three riders. Or so we thought.
Yeah. And 13 kilometers to go, we said, okay, that's pretty much it. But if you remember, Tarozzi, straight away after the sprint, he started immediately to go. And he just waited the guy to rejoin his wheel, and then they start turning. And all our focus was behind, all the maneuvering of the peloton, of the teams, preparing for the sprint. But in the meantime, nobody informed the three riders at the front and at the back they were maneuvering because they were still pushing very hard on the pedal.
Yeah. It was a strange one to read because the roads approaching Sofia were big, wide roads. I think you used the terminology a UAE road, which means a highway.
5 lanes, no?
Which kind of like makes it slows the bunch down in a curious way, doesn't it? Because you've got 6 or 7 teams marking one another along. And also at that point with like maybe 5-6 kilometers to go, the riders doing the work on the front with the climbers. There was, I know Rubio was involved and riders like that.
Sobrero was there.
So they're not the kind of last lead out trains at all.
Because it was more controlling the position rather than doing a proper lead out. Because like when it's so wide, you cannot afford to go full gas because it's too long, it's too wide. It's not like you take the front position and then you defend the position. It's impossible. It's too big. But this was giving the 3 riders in the front a fair chance. We were at 3 kilometers. How much we were?
Well, it was tantalizing. With about 5k to go, they had like 17, 18 seconds. 4k to go, they had 19 seconds. 3k to go, 18 seconds. 2k to go, 16 seconds.
It was good.
It was very exciting, but they were caught.
But very late. I mean, at 500 meters to go with the, the stable cameras or the cameras.
The fixed line cameras. Fixed line cameras. Yeah.
They were still there. They were still in the image. They've been caught just at 500 meters to go. Yeah. It was amazing. I mean, chapeau to them. But then we were in the sprint and it wasn't really on camera. It was in the background because of these 3 riders. But I think like the best lead out so far was the Unibet Rosa Rockets.
Yeah.
They were pretty much present. I mean, you recognize them thanks to the helmet, but we're going to rewatch this. But they were present at the front. And then Milan decided it was time to go. I think like he probably overestimates, the angle of the corner because there was a corner 70 meters to go, and he decided to went very far from the finish. He was the first one opening up the sprint.
It was a curious final kilometre, or final run-in, because it went from very untechnical suddenly to really kind of like all sorts to think about. And the road surface here, I mean, you can't see it on these images, but basically the last few hundred metres were on these sort of bricks, painted bricks. Now, thankfully, it's dry. I mean, there's almost spots of rain now. Had that road been wet, the Giro...
Probably they would have had to move the finish line.
We could have had a third horrible crash in as many days. You know.
Because as Milan approached this, he had the position were Milan approaching this corner and the cobbles, Magnier and Groenewegen. This was the first three riders at the corner, 170 meters. Milan already launched the sprint. And then he went, obviously, because for the nature of the current, the corner, he went totally on the right and he opened up the sprint. But then Magnier launched this whole sprint. At the same time, Milan got caught in something like a hose or some gaps in the road. They kind of lost the momentum.
His back wheel spun. He lost a bit of traction.
He had to set for a brief moment before relaunching the sprint, but the wheels again, it was spinning. But Magnier had a really great line. It was straight line for him.
I love watching Jonathan Milan sprint. I could watch it.
Just smashing the bike.
I mean, honestly,
it's just violence to the bike.
You go back to Mario Cipollini, and then after him, the musculature of Andre Greipel and Marcel Kittel. But for me, Milan is next level in terms of like bang, and his big frame and that head that works like a pneumatic hammer, doesn't it? It's just like it's so powerful. But you're right. So that kept pointing it out to me on the replays. You're absolutely right, Jacopo, because this is your métier. You're an expert in that. Just that slip of the back wheel. It's like bam, fraction of a second, and it made the difference because the winning margin for Paul Magnier, who came with
was very little. I think
half a bike length.
Yeah, 30 centimeters, but at this speed, probably they were coming at 7 per hour.
That's the difference. And the fastest rider at the finish line was the guy who finished in third.
Dylan Groenewegen. When we saw the photo finish, he won by a margin, But I think a meter after the finish line, there was Groenewegen appearing on his left of Magnier. He celebrates, but if you see clearly on the camera from behind, he celebrates, and then he look at the left, saw Groenewegen, and he said, "Oh God, did I celebrate too early?"
Yeah.
I did a mistake or what?
He was so focused on Milan and his right peripheral vision, he forgot about the Dutchman on the left. But it was super tight.
Yeah, it was a good sprint. It was a good sprint.
It was a really good sprint, and it was fair and it was clean. Couple of absentees really from the sharp end of the sprint. I think it was unfortunate for Tobias Lund Andersen.
Yeah, it was out of. He got a flat tire.
He got a flat tire late on,
but he had plenty of time because of the nature of this finish line. But I think they tried a little bit because also NSN, there were the two teams trying to stay from behind. You remember?
Yeah.
Halfway, 6-7 kilometers, they were very far back. They tried to play the car coming at the last minute, but it didn't work out for both of them because Ethan Werner was not even in the top 10.
No.
And but it was very good sprint. Mads Mikkelsen.
Mads Mikkels, the Estonian national champion.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good sprint by him again.
Fifth to fourth, getting closer, isn't he? Caden Grove's absent. I mean, he's just not quite there yet.
I think he still felt the crash and the bruises.
100%. Yeah. And another day of suffering for poor old Arnaud Delis. He was dropped on the big climb of the day.
The only one dropped.
The only one dropped. And this time, unlike yesterday, they sent riders back to look after him. It was Jonas Rutsch, the German, and Josh Giddings, the young Briton. They did a really good job of bringing him back, but he looked pale, didn't he?
Yeah,
he's had a digestive.
Empty. He's a powerful rider. He just looked empty. Every time he need to push, I think he had to dig a little bit deep. Yeah. He just exploded.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's gonna feel better. I hope he has a rest day tomorrow for everybody.
Yeah.
I hope this is gonna kind of reset for everybody, for the guys who crashed.
Yeah.
And especially for Delis didn't crash, but definitely the stomach issues he was experiencing before the Giros.
Yeah. All right, that's the end of our Bulgarian adventure. The race continues after a rest day with stage 4 down in Calabria. Let's have a look at that. It's a 2-star stage in Calabria. You're better at pronouncing Italian names than me.
From Catanzaro to Cosenza.
And it goes along the coast at least. There's a bit of a preamble, largely flat, as you can see. Just one uncategorized climb fairly early on, Jacopo. And then eventually we make our way down to the Tyrrhenian coast.
Yeah, Lamezia Terme first, where we're going to land tonight with our airport. Here's all along the coast, and before heading north for the sprint in Amantea.
I think it's a little bit further north, actually. That's not quite it. They get to this sprint eventually. There's the intermediate sprint, and that's the point where they then switch and go up really quite a big climb as well. It's a category 2 climb up and over that mountain ridge and dropping back down again. And then the race direction switches. They head south towards the finish line, through the Red Bull kilometre, again close to the finish line. And there it comes. It's a very dynamic looking profile.
It's not a 2 stars for me.
No,
it's a 15-kilometer climb. That one 6%. It's a proper climb. It's a proper climb. As you see now, and it's very close to the finish, similar to today, but harder and close to the finish.
Yeah, could be an interesting one. Well, it's definitely going to be an interesting one on stage 4. Could be anything.
I think this is the stage where finally some team's going to try, to drop the pure sprinter from this.
Oh, good luck, Arnaud Delis. That's going to be a horrible day for him if he gets through the rest day, okay. And talking about riders who've just been forced to abandon the race, it is unfortunate, isn't it? But that was an exceptionally bruising and damaging crash yesterday on stage 2. And just to recap, let's list off the riders who've gone. Odner Holter, who's a very versatile young rider from Uno X Mobility. I was looking forward to seeing him race. He's had to go home. Santiago Buitrago, the cameras didn't pick him up, but he's gone, and that's a big, big blow to Bahrain Victorious' GC ambitions and stage hunting ambitions.
Vendrame from Jacopo Lula.
2-time stage winner in the past.
He finished the stage, but didn't start this morning due to broken vertebrae.
Yeah, and then the 3 big name, the 3 GC riders potentially for UAE. So that's the mercurial Marc Soler, who could have done anything at this Giro d'Italia.
A broken hip for him.
Jay Vine, who could have won the individual time trial and could have got himself on the podium, very arguably. And of course, a very familiar name, big name, Adam Yates.
Yeah, it was also been a lot of on camera yesterday, Adam Yates, who finished actually the stage. He looked a bit lost in his face when he was on camera very near to the finish line. It was right after the crash, he was covered in mud and blood, the face and the hands. The only thing he was looking for was some water to wash off the dirt from his face. He got a cut on behind the ears, but then lately on the check yesterday night, he found to be having a concussion. He looked a bit disconnected in his face, at the finish line yesterday. That's the way it is. This morning didn't start as well, Adam Yates.
Yeah, big shame, because he could have had a fascinating Giro. He could have ended up on the podium. He could have, been battling for, and he hasn't had that opportunity for years since he moved to UAE. So at the Grand Tours at the very least. So
a big pity. We wish all of them speedy recovery and to see them as soon as possible back on the road, right? Yeah,
absolutely agree. Do make sure that you join us again as the wind just rocks our camera a little bit here, and you can see the storm clouds beginning to gather. We'll get ourselves under a bit of shelter here. We'll pick things up though over in Italy with a rest day program, so look out for that when it drops. But in the meantime, it's ciao
for now.
Catchphrase, isn't it?